you once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice.
Hi, this is Shakedown episode 6. I'm Theo. Welcome along. Sorry I haven't been around lately. I've been doing other things. Work is involved and other aspects of life. This is what it really is nowadays. But I am back, and I am back to talk about preferences. While we're talking about men's mentality and attitudes towards the preferences of the fairer sex or even the same sex. So I'm going to ask if there is an obsession with that, if it can ever fade away, and if it's attraction alone, is it really everything? And I'm going to talk about my own personal experiences. I'm going to share a few stories about what I've gone through and everything. So I got this idea because I was talking to somebody, and props to, you know who you are, that gave me the idea. And it hit me with a lightning bolt of what I would want to talk about. And the idea just came into my head. So I just wanted to ask if there is an obsession to all of this with preferences. And I gotta say that I think that there is some sort of an obsession with some people. Some people can let it be about everything. I don't know why, but it's just that. And I'm not just talking about the opposite sex, I'm talking about the same sex. I think when we view people and we have a taste of what kind of person we like to go for, it's always in our heads. We always dream of the perfect person. We always dream of somebody that's got the body of this, or the intelligence of that, or how the person kind of makes you feel, but you only just wish that they had a different sort of personality altogether. It's all those sorts of things that culminate into effect, and I think that some people kind of build them up as you go ahead in your dating life. I think that, okay, it's not perfect, but it's always making do, and then, you know, something along comes a little bit better. You know, I think obviously on the whole, dating nowadays is very, very hard. I think it's because of the fact that we are trying to be less tolerant, but we can't take more tolerance anymore, because, you know, you got people out there who actually want sex. You got people out there who are not doing nothing for themselves and everything else, and, you know, they want something to kind of hang on to kind of keep the relationship going, as it were, so that they can try to be bettering themselves, and that's a bad thing. You know, yes, you should be with somebody that's going to make you feel good about yourself, but in hindsight, you shouldn't be with somebody who is not on the same level as you. You shouldn't be with somebody that's actually just about attraction alone. Because if you are, then you're not going to get anywhere. You know, because what interests you? You have to think to yourself, what drives you, what pushes you along, what makes you interesting to other people, and that's what you have to kind of really, really be serious about, and you got to deal with it in that way. I don't get it with people nowadays. You know, when I was dating in my 20s, and it's not even that long ago when you think about it, I've dated white girls, I've dated black girls, I've dated big beautiful women, and I've dated slim women. And I'm not trying to say that I'm sort of Casanova, as it were, or whatever. I just think that over time, obviously, you tend to learn a few things about yourself as you date, and that's kind of what happened with me, really. I've dated people, and I've dated people from all walks of life, and the truth of the matter is, like, you just get. It's not in terms of experience, and you can't even get an obsession of what you're trying to look for and everything. Because I never had an obsession with me dating other women. I never had none. I just kind of kept on talking to them and then dated for a while and then see if it could grow or whatever. Obviously, I've been in dates where it didn't materialize and everything, but it's one of those things. I think that people have some sort of an obsession, and then I think some people don't have an obsession. I think it just depends on what you're looking for in a person. That's probably my best answer. Right. So, can it fade away? That obsession, can it fade away? I think you come up to a point that if you're dating somebody and it's not going well, and what you're trying to look for, I think, yeah, it can fade away. I think it fades away when you get older. I think it fades away when you realize that there was good people in your life, and they treated you as best as they could do. And then you realize you would like to have somebody like that back in your life. But obviously you can't go after that person again, the very same person that you dumped or never materialized anything with it. Because it may be too late. And you may kind of regret that. But some people, they kind of get lucky and they get with them and everything. But it can fade away. It can have... it can make you kind of sit down and just think to yourself, what do you really want in a person? You have to kind of think to yourself, you got to soul search. If you've gone through a tough breakup, or if you've gone through something that's even bigger than that, and you want to try and get your own self-love, you want to get your own self-respect, then obviously it does fade away in your mind, and you got to kind of think to yourself, right, what do you want? You have to sit down, you have to look in the mirror, and you have to be really, really honest about yourself. Don't think about what your friends say, and don't think about what's in. Don't follow fashion, as I always say to people, because following fashion just kind of gets you into a low sense of security of who you are. You should go with your own instincts, your own guts, your own feelings, despite with what the people say, because and you shouldn't be looked at that way as well. You shouldn't be saying, oh yeah, you shouldn't date him because he's not this and he's like that. Date the person because of how he makes you feel, or she makes you feel. That's what I say. If you really like that person, go after that person. Don't let it stop you. Unless they're with somebody, of course. Don't go with them or whatever. But try and try and date somebody that's gonna make you feel a special person. So that's really what I'm coming up with, really. But I just simply think that it does fade away over time. It fades away over time, really, also because you have to kind of break it down. You like over the course of your dating life, right? If it's just not going well, just not, or don't date for a while. Don't date at all if you can. You can do everything that you can do by yourself. And there's people out there who have done that. Done certain things and just thought, okay, I'm not looking for somebody. And if they are trying to get back into the game and everything, some people would say, oh, it's too late for me. It's never too late to find love. That's what I will say to people. It's never, ever, ever too late. And I just believe that there's always somebody out there for them if they can look, if they can, try to get out there and just do what they can to, just be you. Do you. That's what someone told me a long time ago. Do you. Be the best person that you can be, and never let yourself in a phase where, you can't do nothing in life. I'm not going to get inspirational here, but I'm just trying to tell you that it does fade away, but there's a way around that obsession, that idea of people, because we all have that sort of mind. Me too. I always have this an idea of what a perfect person would be like, but you're never gonna get that because nobody is perfect. You're gonna have to kind of lower your standards a bit. But you got people out there that's got high standards, and people working up to that and everything. But and people out there who've got standards, who've said that, oh yeah, they dated this person, yeah, I can't date this person because they don't have a job. I can't date this person because they don't drive, or they don't do this, or they don't do that. It's sad reasons, but if you got a person that is just trying to make it in life, then why not? Do their best to support them to get on to your level. Yes, you have to do it yourself and everything if you're that person. But the whole crux of this is to try and see somebody for who they are. Don't just look at them for their title, what they got, and everything. Just don't do it. It's never good. It's never good. Right. So that leads me on to my next part in the topic, and I'm going to talk about if attraction is everything. Oh, this is kind of a tough subject for me, being through dating life myself, and it's been a long time coming for this. When I was at school, a long time ago, I was picking my brother up from school. He's a couple years younger than me, and as I was doing that, one of the girls never knew that I actually had a brother, and I did like her at the time, to be honest, but when I was picking him up, and she told me that, yeah, that's my brother. That's your brother? And she turned around and said to me, how come he's so cute and you're so ugly? I stood in sadness when that was said to me. I stood in utter shock, because I know I've been called that before growing up, but never in front of my brother, and never in front of my brother like that. It was just like really embarrassing. And if that person has heard this and everything, and they want to apologize, then I don't think. I mean, I can forgive, but I won't forget, because you don't know how it kind of make you feel. How would it make you feel if I done that to you, to your sister or your brother? I would never have said something like that to anybody, to say that you're ugly or whatever, because I believe that there's always a beautiful part inside everybody. It's just that the world's that cold, and that kind of made me kind of felt a bit down about myself, because I just kind of, in that moment, I just felt that I was never going to be able to get anybody, never be able to feel like I could be with anybody. And I was looked at that then, I was looked down, and it just didn't make me feel good when I heard that. But my answer, if attraction is everything, it's not. It's one thing being attracted to being heavily attracted to somebody, it's one thing, but what have they got up top? And I'm not saying what they got in terms of being, if they got like a nice chest or something like that. I'm talking about what they got on their brain. I'm talking about what they have to offer in their mind. You know, they might be looking good, but can they actually back it up with intelligence, with decent conversations? Can they back it up with a sense of humor? Can they back that all up? And that's what you kind of go for. Can they back it up with their personality? If they've got a personality that that outweighs the beauty in them, then it's a fair game. But if you got somebody who is more too concerned about how they look all the time, then that person's not going to be right for you, because there are people out there who are doing that. And yes, they might do it on the basis, yeah, I want to try to look good, always trying to look good, appearance is everything to them, and I agree with that to some extent, but I won't agree with it because, you know, it's not everything. You know, I don't like to watch certain reality TV shows because they show constant beautiful people in everything, and that's not the sort of world I sort of live in anyway. It's not the sort of world I would associate myself in. If I was of a privileged nature, I would never ever go to that sort of level, because I know who I am. I know who I came from, where I came from, and I just wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there at all. But that's just me. I don't know how you guys feel, but like, that's just me. Attraction isn't everything, and I'll say it again, it's not everything. And if you let that kind of mantra, thinking that it's everything, go to your head, then you're going to struggle to kind of get somebody in life. It's not everything. Yes, we all have an idea of what a perfect person would be like, and what sort of person we like to date, but you're not going to get that. You're going to have to meet somebody halfway. You're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to show that, okay, this is the person that's like you're dating. This is the person who, yes, you have to kind of think to yourself, can you actually date this person, even though you got your own life going on? Can you meet in the middle? Can you try and see if there's something that can actually be developed? You have to kind of understand that. But for me, I just think that it's not everything. It's not everything. And my story, with what I just said just a few minutes ago, I just never ever want to feel like that. And again, even if I had children and I was and that happened to them, oh, I would probably cry. I would deal with the situation, but I would probably cry, because I know how that feels, and I can respond to it. I can relate to it. But if that ever happened, I know I'll be able to deal with it a lot better. You know, growing up, I wasn't the best looking kid. I would admit that. I was very slim. I had chicken pox. My teeth weren't great. It wasn't even straight. I even had braces growing up in my teenage years. I'll admit that. I wasn't looking good. I think I look better now than I did back then, if I'm honest. But it's not everything. You know, I was very shy as a kid. I was excitable, but I was a very shy kid when it came to girls. And I would never go down on the street, and I would never go and flirt with them or whatever. Would never ever speak to them. If I was in sure happenstance, then yes, I would be. But you know, but I did have a rough childhood. Like, let's be honest, and I'm gonna say that for another time. But the bottom line is, I didn't look great as a kid. I tried my best, you know, but it's one of those things, really. My perceptions on myself did change as I got older. You know, I now look a little bit better. I put more weight on, which I'm happy about. I'm exercising a little bit more, and yeah, it's just great that I can look at myself, that I can feel confident within myself. It's just that I wish that I could have done this years ago. You know, I wish that things would have been a little bit different back then. But sadly, it's what it's going to be, and this is life. And I think that, you know, attraction isn't everything, but I always wanted to show the world, to show people that I am a good person, I am a likable person, and I think I'm still that same person. It's just that I look a little bit, you know, a little bit better, I would say, you know. If I was to show you what I looked like back then and how I look now, I said people would still say I'm staying the same, but it's just a bit more, you know. I just look a bit more, but it's one of those things, really. What attraction does to you. You're thinking ahead, you know. But that's how I really would picture it. Okay, we're almost coming to the end of this particular podcast, and I hope you enjoy it and everything. I wanted to get this podcast off my chest, really, because, you know, like as I said, somebody gave me the idea as I was talking to the person, and it just hit me with a lightning bolt, and I wanted to do something that kind of resonates with people out there who might be feeling this way, and I wanted to try and help that whoever is feeling like this. And this is not me wanting to. This is not me wanting fame or whatever. I've maintained this all the time, that this podcast is designed to help men understand that whatever you're going through in life, there's always somebody out there that kind of resonates with you and will support you and will try to, you know, uplift you as much as you can possibly, as much as I can possibly can. And that's what my general mission statement, as it were, to do this podcast and talk about it. So and I'm happy to do so. You know, I'm happy to do so. I think that's what we need to do as people. We need to try and help each other instead of kind of ridiculing each other, because that's what happens when we're talking, when we're dating people and everything, and when we are, you know, yes, you got people who out there who make mistakes and they kind of do the wrong things and everything. When you're dating somebody, it's a one-on-one thing. You know, you gotta show how good you are, and the same for the person that you're dating. You know, and that's really how it works. You gotta entertain. You gotta. It's not so much as having impress, but I know it's like a job interview when you think about it. But just be as confident, but be yourself. You haven't got to impress anybody. Just be yourself. Be proud of who you are and where you come from, and just show that bright light that's inside you. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can look as brilliant as you do. You can wear the best dresses. You can wear the sharpest suits and everything. But if you haven't got what you got inside in your heart, that belief, you know, to show who you are inside, then you won't stand a chance, you know. And that's what I kind of feel with people. You know, people getting this whole dating thing wrong. You know, like try to not picture it as a perfect person. I know that first impressions count for everything, but just try to look deeper and beyond all of that stuff. You know, try to be understanding. You know, yes, if it does go wrong and they saying the wrong things and whatever, and it kills the moment, kills the vibe, then yeah, it's one of those things that does happen. But just go in there with an open heart, an open mind, and just see what happens, really. You never know. You never know. The first date turns out to be the best date. And yeah, I've had a few in my time, but it's one of those things. Anyway, right. I'm going to end this podcast And before I do, I'm gonna talk about who's gonna be my extraordinary person of the week reward. And what I'm doing right is that early this week um, I actually looked on this person, um, and basically this person um, would have been like I believe it's 70 years old, and but this person I'm gonna go for. Oh, sorry, she would have been 90 years old. Um, she would have been 90, and this person kind of inspired me. Um, it kind of inspired me to be one of those guys, really, and she died at 86 in 2014, and I'm of course talking about Maya Angelou, um, and she is a really, really, really good person. I am grateful. To be. Sorry, it was like I was just looking on her on a website, the Time website, talking about her, and there was a video that popped up there, and I wanted to read up about her real quick. Um, she actually had 30 books out, and she had many different careers. You know, she was an actor, she was a dancer, she was a waitress, she was a cook. You know, she you know, she wrote the one of the best poems, "Still I Rise," um, and it was just brilliant what she used to do. Um, she kind of spoke to women, but also she kind of spoke to men. You know, in this instance, and when I read about her, and when I see what she's done, and all that sort of thing, you know, it's just brilliant. She's even won 3 Grammy Awards, you know, with spoken word albums. Um, you know, she wrote 7 autobiographies. The last one released just about a year before her death. Um, and I think really she's just really incredible with what she's been able to do, to talk about. She when she reads it and everything, she reads everything with so confidence, and the grace and the fire that she had, and that's what I kind of respect about her as well. And it ties into what I'm trying to say with this podcast. You know, she was fearless in what she'd done. She never imagined she would be able to get to where she is, but she was fearless, and she was confident, and she was like prepared to show herself in her own mind to be a strong poet person. And that's what I'm trying to get out with this podcast, with this episode. You know, people like her didn't it, she yes, she cared about looking good and everything else, but she was more prepared to talk about her mindset, what she wanted to do, how she wanted to create, and everything else. And if I could actually had a date with her, we would be talking about that. We would be talking about all these things, about our mindsets, about our values, and our beliefs and everything else. We would have been able to sit down there and had a chat. You know, sadly, I won't be able to get to, obviously, but if I could, I would be sitting down there and be doing that. And that's what people need to do. You know, sit down, talk about what they believe, what their values are. You know, talk about how interested you are in certain things, and try and find some sort of things in common. Get that click going. It's one thing being attracted to somebody based on how they look, but be attracted to somebody because of their mindset and everything else is a big thing. It's a bonus. And I think that's what people need to do. So I'm going to end this podcast by giving Maya Angelou the extraordinary person of the week. And that's it, really. There you have it with this podcast, with this episode. I'm going to be back next time around with another podcast. I don't know when, but as soon as I put a topic comes, I'm going to be right there. I'm going to be covering it, but I will do my best. You can find me on my social media, Theo Samuels 11 on Instagram, at Theo_Samuels on Twitter, Theo Samuels on Facebook, T-Switch 11 on Snapchat. You can find me on there. Let me know what you guys think. Please let me know. Your comments, your suggestions would actually help me to produce the show that I want, or what I want. Also, with the future of the show, I want to be able to get guests on. I want to be able to interview people. So please let me know if you want to be able to be a part of this podcast, because I want it to grow. I want it to reach more people, and I want it to touch people's hearts and minds. And yeah, that's what I really want to do with this podcast. You know, it's not about fame. It's about helping people. That's what my goal is. So with this podcast, I'm going to say peace out, one love, and catch you on the next one.
I told you once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll tell you twice.